In the remote village of Blackmoor, nestled deep within a forest that no maps dared to detail, there was a single, unspoken rule. Never take anything from the woods. This wasn't folklore. It was survival. It began with Lily, a curious 6-year-old girl who wandered too close to the edge of the forest one chilly autumn evening. Her mother, Eleanor, found her sitting under a gnarled oak, cradling a doll made of twigs and mud. Its eyes were small, jagged stones, and its mouth was a crude slash of crimson thread. "Who gave you that?" Eleanor asked, her voice sharp with unease. "The tall woman," Lily replied, her tone distant. "She said it's a gift. She said it's me." Eleanor snatched the doll from Lily's hands and hurled it into the trees. She grabbed her daughter and ran back to the house, her heart pounding. But that night, Lily began to change. At first, it was subtle. Lily's laughter became quieter, her words slower, as though she were mimicking the sounds rather than feeling them. Her once rosy cheeks turned pale, and her vibrant green eyes dulled, taking on a lifeless grey hue. Eleanor woke one night to the sound of scratching at Lily's bedroom door. When she opened it, she found her daughter standing in the dark, her head tilted at an unnatural angle. "Mommy," Lily said, her voice hollow, echoing as if spoken in a vast empty room. "Why did you throw me away?" Eleanor froze. "What do you mean, sweetheart?" "The doll," Lily whispered, stepping closer. "She said you didn't want me anymore. So she gave me back to the woods." Eleanor searched the house the next morning and found the twig doll on the kitchen table, as though it had crept back inside. She burned it in the fireplace, watching as the mud blackened and the crimson thread unraveled. But that night, she woke to the sound of Lily's laughter echoing through the halls. Except it wasn't Lily's voice. It was deeper, raspier, and filled with malice. She rushed to her daughter's room, only to find the bed empty. The window was open, and muddy footprints trailed toward the forest. Grabbing a lantern, Eleanor followed the tracks, her breath visible in the freezing night air. The forest was alive with whispers, voices that seemed to come from the trees themselves. Eleanor found Lily standing in a clearing, her back to her mother. The doll was in her hands once more, its stone eyes glowing faintly. "Lily, come here!" Eleanor shouted, her voice trembling. But when Lily turned, her face was no longer her own. Her features were stretched and distorted, her mouth too wide, filled with needle-like teeth. Her eyes were pits of darkness. "You didn't want me." The thing that was not Lily said. "So they took me. And now, they've given me back." Eleanor stumbled backward as shadowy figures emerged from the trees. Tall, impossibly thin women with elongated limbs and hollow faces, their mouths stitched shut with crimson thread. They surrounded her, their movements slow but deliberate. The air grew heavy, and Eleanor felt her chest tighten, as if the forest itself was suffocating her. "Take me instead," Eleanor screamed, tears streaming down her face. "Just give her back. She's only a child." The stitched-mouthed women paused, their hollow faces tilting in unison. One stepped forward and raised a bony finger toward the doll. "Choose!" The shadowy figure rasped, the sound scratching at Eleanor's ears. "The doll or the child?" Eleanor's hands trembled as she reached for the doll, its surface cold and wet. The moment her fingers closed around it, Lily let out an inhuman screech, her body convulsing as the shadows swallowed her whole. When Eleanor woke the next morning, she was back in her home. The doll sat on the kitchen table, but Lily was gone. Now, Eleanor waits every night by the forest's edge, clutching the doll and whispering Lily's name. Sometimes, she hears her daughter's laughter in the trees, but she knows it's not Lily anymore. And the woods, they're still waiting for their next gift.